Hey guys, how's it going? Just coming at you with another video here, and this one here is a bit of a follow up to something I said in my previous video, in which I had mentioned I'd gone to a convention recently in the last couple of weeks. So here I am, kind of more or less talking about it. So here you go. Um, yeah. The convention I went to recently. If you didn't hear my last video, I went to a con. I went to Annapolis Comic-Con here in state of Maryland, which is where I live and where I grew up. In fact, I was born in Annapolis, but I didn't grow up there. But I consider it my hometown. So, um, given where I live right now, the commute isn't too bad. So, and I've been there many times over the years. So, very well connected to my own hometown. Um, Now this convention in question, um, uh, it's been around since 2011, and we're in the year 2022 right now, and this is my first time being able to attend said convention, and my first in-state one as well. I don't get to do conventions very often, so and the part of this one, the one time I did get to go was to a convention. It was AwesomeCon, which is in DC, and I've been there 4 times thus far. The closest I'd come prior to this event was a toy expo that I'd gone to in Millersville called Pasadena um, Toy Expo. I did a video on it a few months back. And it's what's now called Maryland Toy Expo. They've since then moved venues from. Uh, excuse me, ignore that. I farted. Yeah. Anyway, the last they've the last this event I'm talking about right now, Pasadena Toy Expo. They've since outgrown their old venue and they moved up north to Timonium in Baltimore County. And they did bigger space, I guess. But yeah, when it was in Millersville, I got to go there at least once. I did so a few months ago. And prior to me going to Annapolis Comic Con, in my mind, that was the closest I'd come to attending an in state convention. So even though a toy expo and a convention, I guess they're just different ballparks, I suppose, but still. But I hope you get my point. Um, but yeah, so I went to this one, Annapolis Comic Con. I wanted to go to a one in Hunt Valley called Farpoint Convention, but I didn't get to go to. I wanted to, but it didn't happen. I know that sounds a little repetitive what I just said, but still. But I kind of figured if not that one, then maybe I could always go to this one as a fallback. And I guess with not being able to go to the one in Hunt Valley, um, why didn't we go? Even though I wanted to, in my opinion, you know how like when you try to do your homework in school 5 minutes before it was due, that's kind of feel like what we did. You know, it tried to figure things out right, not too long before it happened in the week or so leading up to it. So we just weren't really all that prepared in my mind. So that's just me. So, but yeah. So as far as Annapolis Comic Con, the interesting thing about Annapolis is that we don't have a convention center, so they've moved from venue to venue. Um, they were at a rec center for a few years. There's a hotel, and then there's for at least twice they used a hotel that's right across from the mall. Um, and for they used they used it back in 2016 and 2017. They did not have one in 18 or 19, and due to COVID, they did not have one in 20 and 21. So ignore that part. So this is the first time in the last couple of years. So reason I wanted to go to this one was for its own sake. Even though as far as guests are concerned, I didn't really see anybody I was looking to meet immediately. Um, I still wanted to go anyway because I'd never been to this one, and I wanted and especially since I don't get to do conventions very often. So yeah. So what did I do, and how did I feel about it? Well, I guess for what it was worth, it was I was able to have a fun time. I did some walking around a good bit. Um, and interesting thing is, the venue that they used this year, they're probably gonna be. I imagine they're probably gonna use next year, unless they go somewhere else. But as far as I'm aware of, they're gonna be doing. They're gonna be using the same venue. There's a Greek Orthodox church not too far from the local high school. That's where it is. So they have and there's the church itself, and then there's an event building that's on the premises that's right attached to this. It For those watching this video who live in the area, you know what I'm talking about. If you're if you're even remotely familiar with this particular place, and I hope I'm being clear enough. So, but yeah, they held that event there. Who all went? Let's see, my dad, I was there, and a friend of my dad's. We all went with us. So I mostly just kind of walked around. Who all was there? Well, seeing as this convention was rather small in scale, it's mostly a couple artists, maybe an author or two who were there, maybe of course to promote their art and or whatever they had selling. Like maybe a comic they wrote or maybe a book they published. You know what I mean? So, so I was just there, walked around. I actually picked up a couple things. Um, um, and did I cosplay? Yes, I did. Um, what I dressed up as last time I went to a convention, which was Awesome Con in DC. I cosplayed as Ezra Bridger from Star Wars Rebels, and I did the same thing again this time. I had an idea or two of what I wanted to do for my next cosplay, but I figured if nothing else, I could just fall back on what I did last time, and that's what ended up happening. I know cosplay is not a necessity; you can choose to, but that's what I did. I chose to cosplay, and who did I think about cosplaying as this time around? You know, I thought about maybe say doing Poe Dameron, Finn, like from a couple of the characters from the sequels, the last Star Wars trilogy. I thought about doing a Kyle Katarn even, but they were just thoughts, But that's the interesting thing about cosplay. And I'm speaking as a noob here. I'm just going off on a side tangent. Is that there must be something to it that when you do it once, and you think about wanting to do so again. But yeah, anyway. So I dressed up as that again. Um, but yeah, so I sort of walked around, bought a couple things. Um, there weren't really any panels, and especially since uh, with me, I was there the last couple hours of the day. My friend Dustin, a buddy of mine from high school, he was there too with his two boys, but he was there earlier than I was, so we didn't get to see each other, which is kind of a bummer. But what can you do, I guess? Um, um, who did I get any pictures? Yeah, I did. Actually, and who with? See, well, I took a picture of a guy dressed up as Boba Fett. Just, got a picture of a guy dressed up as Master Chief from the Halo games, and I was there was a guy dressed up as Mando, you know, Din Djarin, the Mandalorian. I actually got a picture with him. The one picture that I got where I was actually in the frame. Um, um, that was I got him. So if you're friends with me on Facebook, or at the very least, um, follow me on Instagram. Um, yeah, hopefully, you got an idea of what I look like. So, and I even got a video of me just walk around the venue before I walk before or at the convention floor now, just to see give people an idea of what it looked like. Just a second, I'm not gonna answer this. I'm gonna answer this. Anyway, I was just answering a response to the chat, but anyway, um, but um, but yeah, anyway, so as far as what I have picked up, let's see here. Oops. Got this homemade Baby Yoda thing. When I showed it to my mom, she was like, "Dude, even it was about $62. Didn't like the price, but I bought it. And for that amount of money, given how it's made, it was worth it, according to her. Um, this one um uh, um one person who was there, it was a guest, I guess. We're always in attendance. I was at her table when I was talking to her. I had an item or two to sell. I wound up getting this thing. It's got a lot of Pokemon on it. It can be used for like your say earbuds, or if you're like a dice, maybe like if you're like say a D&D fan, for example, and you like hear your dice running them. Hey, that worked for that. So, and interesting, given what all my cosplay does, she knew who or what I was dressed up as because one of the lightsabers I had clipped onto my belt. You know, if you've ever watched Rebels and you know who Ezra Bridger is, his first lightsaber, which is blue, is the saber pistol. So you know, so it's like two weapons in one. She says she's a very big fan of that particular series, so she knew who I was dressed up as based on the what I had clipped on my belt. So hey, there you go. So, but yeah, got that. Uh, and just I don't know if this really means anything here, but just got a couple of these based on some of the who all was there. They're like, maybe just kind of giving a shout out on some of the work they did, or at least where you can find them. And also you can see a QR code or two. So, um, and, anyway, I gotta respond to the chat here. Pardon me for a second. Uh, anyway, pardon me. But yeah, so I got a couple of that. Let's see. I also got this thing right here. Let's see. I got a comic book right here. It was like a boy and his dad. I think um, he was kind of pulling me aside. Hey, I want you to check this. Check this thing out. And I was oh cool. That. And I decided just for the hell of it, I'll give him my business because saying why the hell just because I felt like being so supportive. And they said, well, I got this, and he said, oh cool, thanks for your business. No problem. And I got a poster that went with it, and the bag that went with it. I think I even got a wristband too, but I don't know what the hell happened to it. So yeah, so those were uh, and and but yeah, so I got that's all. Those are all what I picked up. So even though it was only there for the last couple hours of the day, it was still cool for what I was able to make of it. So even if there wasn't any, I guess I was looking to meet right off the bat. You know, So there you go. Um, so I guess as it stands, I don't even though I don't get to do conventions very often. I can still add this another notch to my belt in terms of which one. So therefore, I've been able to do two cons thus far and a toy expo. And if there are any others I get to do in the coming year, we'll see what happens. And if I depends on which one I get to go to, which ones and where they are, and what all happens. But so I guess that's pretty much my experience here. Hold on just a second here. Um, anyway, sorry about that. I was just answering the chat here. But yeah, I guess with all that said, that's kind of about my experience on that con. And bear in mind too, it was a 1 day event as opposed to like a 3 day thing. So I guess with really all that said, that's all I have to say on the matter. So I guess with all that said, I guess rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.